afternoon. This is Sam on for Sam Sports Report. Today's date is Sunday, May 19th, 2024. This is Sam Vaughn. We have 2 Game 7s. We have 3 Game 7s in the next 2 days. 2 of them will be in basketball. But first, let's get to last night's game. The Mavericks win a classic, 117-116. The Mavericks are moving on to the NBA Conference Finals. Now the 2 teams out of the Eastern Conference Finals is the Celtics, and because of last night, the Mavericks move on to the Western Conference Finals as they beat the number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Doncic finished with 29. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored with 36, but too much from one player. Mavs move on. Now we've got 2 Game 7s that we'll go through right now for basketball. An NHL Game 7 will be tomorrow. We'll go over that briefly. 2 of them will be in basketball today. Watch out for Tracy Hilberson and Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart will be a key to the game, according to USA Today. The home team is 112 and 37, about 30% of the time, and the road team wins. Well, the home team will be fighting for their lives to go to the first conference championship since 2000. I can't tell you any of those players' names. For the 2000s, the Pacers went more recent in 2014. This is according to the USA Today about Hart. Tip is at 2:30. Well, Anthony Edwards is having a sore elbow. Will he be able to show up like he normally does? He was one of the players to watch out for. With Jokic and Gilbert adding as free safeties to roam the paint.
Lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker. Part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men.
So the NFL put out a statement. They said this, quote, Harrison Butker gave his speech in his personal capacity. His views are not that of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes our league stronger. I realize I'm the only woman at this table. For the record, I don't think any of you are unnecessary.
So you don't think we set the tone for culture either?
Don't ask my wife that question.
A lot of dudes. But that's fine. You know, the thing that's so stunning to me about this is it just feels like such a huge step backwards in our culture. And I interviewed John Bolton one time, and he said something that really struck me, which is he said, Mark, there is no arc to history. Progress is not guaranteed. And that's what strikes me. But I keep thinking we're so past this, and yet here we are again, like back in the 50s.
Here's why
there are people who hold those views in America, and no comment. Here's a line that also struck me along all of this: abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as growing support for degenerative cultural values. And there are people, one, linking IVF to euthanasia as on par. And two, there are people in that audience, I am certain, even at Benedictine University, who've had abortions, who have IVF or whatever else. And the idea that he's wagging a finger at them is equally troubling.
Look, I mean, it's kind of a smorgasbord thing, right? I mean, he also said that there's some bill in Congress that would ban the biblical explanation about who killed Jesus. I mean, there's something for everybody in here, right now. And I think it's one of these things where there's a certain there's a reactionary kind of pushback that comes up, that bubbles up, that is amplified on social media in ways that in the old days it would have been much more difficult to do this kind of thing in public.
Well, it would have stayed with the audience that it was intended for, which, I mean, it was a conservative Catholic audience. And I also do want to say, I don't think anyone is saying that, at this table is saying that there's an incredible amount of work that goes into running a household. And if that is what you end up doing, that is incredible. It is admirable and it is fine. I think the disconnect is that he's giving this speech to a bunch of women who are graduated from college, about to go out in the world with, all of these various opportunities, and to say to any of them, if their top goal is not what he says he thinks it is, which is getting married and having children, that's not admirable. There were some female sports reporters who reacted to this. The former NFL sideline reporter Lisa Guerrero, hey, NFL, if you want to continue to grow your female fan base and any other marginalized group, because straight white men are already watching your product, come get your boy. I liked NFL Network's Jane Slater. She said, Harrison Butker, 3 words, bless your heart. And then there was this from broadcaster Jackie Remen. It's disgusting. He's up there in front of women who quite obviously have career aspirations and telling them they should only be one thing and lean into that, unlike men who can wear many hats without issue, of course. I mean, I have a daughter. Jonah, you have a daughter.
I have a
This message. We all do.
Everyone here has a daughter?
Yeah.
All right. See, and the message for them?
Stick to kicking, Harrison.
Well, but the amazing thing, and to that point, think about the U.S. women's national soccer team that was probably as dominant as anyone has been in any sport. The moment they started talking about equal pay, everybody said, "Oh, shut up and dribble! You're just politicizing it and don't care." About
I do think there's an
like,
important point to be made here is that young men are in real crisis in this country, right? They have real problems. Women are starting to thrive, and the backlash that you get, the resentment that you get with young men, is that it makes this kind of stuff really attractive because it explains why they're having their problems, and it's a bad story to tell young men.
As we can see, he said a lot of mean things. Should they keep the kipper's job? His job is to kick field goals and not to get in big trouble. So yes, that is my opinion that the Chiefs should keep him. Do I think he is a bad person? Probably. But there's plenty of people that are bad people that have him in jail. I don't like what he said. I don't like the word shut up and dribble, but shut up and kick in this situation. He's a great kicker, and does he get a chance over bad kickers? Maybe, probably. But yes, he's a good kicker, and that's the way pro sports go. Is he probably the second or first best kicker? He was the first best kicker last season. To make fun of pride and women is wrong, because I had problems with knowing which sexuality I was for a long time. Still do have some problems. This is also a graduation speech, probably one of the worst, top 20 worst of all time. But his job is to kick field goals. He's good at that, so he's going to stay. Although I did not like Daniel Sorensen's words at one time, but he was not good enough to be an AH. Butker is. Now, Butker could lose control, and that's what seems to happen sometimes when players say what they shouldn't say. That's Sam Vaughn Sports.